using the analogy of a lover and a beloved, and where I'm getting that wrong. It's like beloved is always available, but I'm not able to, there's a dissonance between myself as an individual and the perfection of the beloved. And I see that echo throughout my life. There's sort of like this basic template from which I'm operating, and then downstream from that comes all of my life circumstances, and how that has been expressing for me has been in the form of participation in a particular lineage. Using the analogy of the beloved as the lineage and then myself as the lover. There's no doubt in my mind that I proceed from the lineage and not the other way around. Am I making any sense?
Well, so far it sounds poetic.
Okay.
But I'm waiting when you stop reciting poetry and get to the bottom of it. But that's okay.
Right.
I like the after dinner a little bit of Rumi, always good.
This constant feeling of incongruency, that there's something perfect that I proceed from, and there's me that's insufficient in some way. And for this particular lineage and these particular practices that I'm involved with, I contract into that role of insufficiency, and if I'm lucky, I keep on redirecting myself back. And sometimes I contract further into the role and try to find some strategy. And so I'm looking at my situation in this retreat, asking myself why am I here? And I don't know if it's that I'm contracting into this role, or that I am insufficient as far as the particular lineage that I'm involved in goes, or I'm aware that lineage can work like streams of water, and that sometimes they can come together and sometimes they come apart. And immediately prior to this retreat, my experience was feeling two things coming together. And so I'm curious about that. I have no idea which. I could be bullshitting myself. I don't know.
Usual stuff.
Usual stuff.
Normal, usual stuff. And I don't need to recall our interaction at the Pacific Grove in Monterey, because what you have asked was along similar lines, maybe less acutely relatable to you at that time. No? We even have a roll, like a clip out there from that. The response that it generated. There's two responses here. One is in general, in terms of that what it represents per se. In other words, that dilemma. It's always that dilemma. Where do I belong? Am I constantly compromising whichever way I go? Or what choice to make, and especially when it comes to this what you speak to, right? That choice, availability, possibility, right? When it comes to simple matter of where do we want to kind of commit for the time being to do the job, to do the work. And then something is more specific. See? Something more specific, pertinent to you. It's always like that. So let's maybe first speak to that overall situation. And the overall situation is such is that there's nothing wrong and nothing unusual about that meandering that we fall into. It's not just because you are somehow whatever that is, feel insufficient in yourself, or you feel there's always be circumstantial reasons to give yourself explanations. What in fact happens here is what's called seeking, per se. I'll give you direct examples now in the life of someone like Swami Muktananda. Are you aware of that teacher, of that master? And you must know that he circled around India for a long time, only to get back to his teacher whom he met at the very beginning of his journey as a much younger man. So he kind of went through that whole journeying as a sadhu, as a young renunciate, only to get back to Maharashtra state, and as Indians would have it, fell at the feet of Nityananda. It's a stuff of legend, proverbial. And of course, on the road, on that detour, he met a lot of great beings, some of whom were teachers, others were just wandering saints, others were just completely what is referred to as avadhuts, those who don't belong to any strata of society whatsoever. They shook it off, all. They don't even teach. They just wander naked, as in the case of Zupriyana in his encounter. In fact, it is Zupriyana who told him, "Don't waste your time, young man, go straight back there." And off he went. I'm just giving an example, and we can continue. And the second Krishnamurti, the angry one, not the huge Krishnamurti, but the one who was constantly pissed off about something, grumpy. And he went to see Ramana Maharshi and just didn't see it. He went all the way, but it just didn't work for him. He completely was disappointed in that famous encounter that they had, because they were in the presence of some of the people who kind of both left accounts of that in Ramana's ashram, and there were also some Westerners present as well, where Krishnamurti asked boldly the Bhagavan, "Can you give it to me?" And Ramana Maharshi said, "Yeah, I can give it to you, but can you take it?" Classic, right? And of course, Krishnamurti did not like that answer. He said, "What a fool," and left the next morning. So what I'm saying is, it's nothing wrong in that. It's normal. It's normal. Sometimes this can be even given analogy to not knowing where to decide, where to go, not knowing. Whom to be with. Just fall in love with at least 2 women at the same time. And you don't know what to do. Right? What do I do? Okay, if it's a possibility to somehow coax everyone into the same relationship, to give you time to decide in that contemporary ménage à trois, so that you can make up your mind, maybe as it goes along, and you can also figure it out. But it doesn't work always like that, isn't it? It just doesn't work like that always. So therefore it's really, really amazing when some people grab the guitar at the age of 12 and never let go, and never let go. So it's like Richie Blackmore, everywhere with the guitar, everywhere, 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 slept with the guitar. That's why he's called Guitar God. See? When there is this one-pointedness, you're bound to become God. You're bound to realize, because there is one-pointedness there. And that constantly being presented with a split is always an opportunity. Is always an opportunity to not to go anywhere. It feels as a dilemma. But there is no dilemma. There's no dilemma at all. Like there is no dilemma which woman to be with. See? It's only a temporal dilemma. It's like you can't love 2 women. You can only love all women. But you can't marry all women. Even if you're Padishah. Even if you're Sultan of Brunei. Even if you are a legendary, what have you, whatever. You can't. It's impossible. There is not enough ghee to sustain your energy. So it's one way or another. You have to, everything is an excuse. An excuse. That's what it is. So that's the overall, that's the general situation. So therefore it can be observed all the time. In fact, when we are presented with choices, seemingly, it's a kind of misdirection of energy. Energy goes elsewhere. Yes, maybe temporarily there is this dilemma, which teacher to be with, where to align yourself. If that's not clear, because there's lack of clarity already somewhere about what is actually happening. You see? So that's why it's called seeking, the search. It's a search. Dating. It's a dating. It's the same like dating. What's so specific about it? What is of value there? The only value there is to recognize it for what it is sooner and be sincere with oneself, because that is an opportunity for being able to see a lot of things very quickly there and see what stands on your way. Because you also spoke about the pattern, right? That there is a pattern that you're observing that kind of directs actions in your life, and how that forms you and finds you, and where you find yourself in certain set of circumstances. So that's as far as the general state of affairs.